Okay, I think I did the motion on that one correctly. Good morning. Are you Anthony Young?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Young, you were previously in court and you entered a plea of guilty to the second-degree felony offense of theft of a firearm. And I received the pre-sentence report and I reviewed that. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
Yes.
Are there any additions or corrections to that report?
Well, just to judge, I know maybe some issue with the defendant's version of what happened for him accepting responsibility. That was discussed with him, and he does understand, of course, what he was charged with and what he pled to, and he's definitely accountable and responsibility for what happened with that gun there.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Smith, on that? I have also received and reviewed numerous jail incident reports that I've had an opportunity to go through. Have you both had an opportunity to review those?
I have reviewed them and discussed them.
So the agreement's for a 5-year deferred probation. How old are you? 17. I'm pretty sure if it's not the thickest packet, it's close to one of the thickest packets I have received from jail with regard to how you have been acting and misbehaving, knowing that you're about to come in front of a judge who could either accept or reject your plea agreement. Doesn't make much sense, does it, how you've been acting? So why have you been doing it?
I get irritated easily.
You do? Do you understand? You're 17, you're so young. We all get irritated easily.
Yes, ma'am.
That's life. It's just part of life. People are going to irritate you. Your parents are going to irritate you. Your lawyer, me, your friends, your girlfriend if you have one, your wife if you end up with one. We all get irritated. But you don't act like this, and you don't talk to people who are just doing their job the way that you speak to these correctional officers. The disrespect that you're showing people who are just trying to go to work and make a living is so unacceptable that I'm not going to say the words because people are watching and it's so inappropriate. It's ridiculous what you've been doing. And then thinking that you can get high or a little buzz by drinking hand sanitizer? That was dumb. How'd that, I mean, you ended up in the hospital, right? I mean, do you want to kind of have a normal life like the rest of us and go to work, go home, have a family, go to school maybe? Or do you want to spend your life in prison? You don't? So let me just tell you, the way this is looking, you're going to have to make some huge changes in your life if you don't want to go to prison. You're going to have to do things that most 17-year-olds don't do. You're going to have to grow up real quick because you're going to be on an adult felony probation. And so if you don't follow the rules, it's not just a slap on the hand, or it's not just getting kicked out of school and going to alternative school. It's not those things. It's prison. And it's going to be prison for up to 20 years. You can go to prison for up to 20 years if you violate this probation. Do you understand? Let that sink in. 20 years of your life you could spend in prison for this very case right here if you don't follow all of the rules. It's a lot. So you need to don't get out of jail and then forget this conversation. Okay? I'm going to do some things, hopefully, that will give you some tools up front in your probation so that you can learn how to make better decisions. Not hang out with the same people, get away from all that. It's just going to be up to you. It's not going to necessarily be easy, but the alternative is really not easy. It's prison, right? Okay. What I'm going to do, Mr. Young, is follow the agreement that you made. I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I'm not going to do that. That means today you're not a convicted felon. All right, we're going to talk some more about that in a minute. You're going to be on probation for 5 years. You're going to be ordered to pay a $500 fine. You're going to order to follow all of the rules, all of the conditions of probation. You don't get to pick and choose which one and go, well, I didn't get a new case, but I missed going. Or I didn't get, a lot of people think as long as they don't catch a case or they don't get in trouble again, that they're fine and they don't have to do the other stuff on probation. You got to do it all. You got to report when you're supposed to. If you test positive for drugs, any drugs, including marijuana. And I get that a lot of people don't think that marijuana is a big deal, but it's a violation of your probation. You can go to prison. It's just that simple. All the rules apply, not just some. And if you do that, then this opportunity is your day to change your life. I am going to order as a condition of this probation that you enter and successfully complete the cognitive track of the ISF program. That's a 90-day program. You'll go from in custody to that program. It's an in-custody program. It's not necessarily meant to be a punishment, but it's classes and tools so that you can make better decisions. If you go to ISF and you act like you've been acting in jail, they let me know. We bring you back. Your probation's revoked before you ever hit the streets. So you can get irritated in ISF, but you better not act like this because you'll never even get the chance to be on probation. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's not going to be a second chance if you act like you're acting right now while you're in ISF. That's going to be your chance to prove to me that this nonsense you can grow out of just like that overnight, because it has to be overnight. I don't care who's irritating you. Do you understand? Okay. So when you get out of ISF, hopefully you're successful, you take advantage of it. You're never going to be a convicted felon if you do everything you're supposed to on probation. Being a convicted felon changes your life in all kinds of negative ways. Obviously, you can't get certain jobs. You can't live certain places. You can't go to certain schools. It puts you on a path that's very difficult. You don't have that right now. If you change your life and you do the right things, at the end of this probation, if you're successful, the case is dismissed. You're never a convicted felon. The other side to that, though, just like I've been talking about, is if you violate any condition of your probation, you're back here in court. Your punishment is up to me. I could give you as low as 2 years. I could give you anywhere in between, up to 20 years in prison. Do you understand? All right, I'm going to hand you the trial court certification that shows that this was an agreement that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal. I really do hope you take advantage of this. Another thing I want to make sure you understand is there's going to be a little bit of time between now and when they take you to ISF. It's not very much, but it could be a couple of weeks or so. If I find out that you have incident reports between now and then, before you ever get to ISF, it's a violation of your probation. Does that understand? I know there's a bunch of you young kids that are all in the same dorm in our jail because we got younger and younger of y'all doing stuff like this. And y'all all are in there. I've read all about it in your case and everybody else's case. And you've got to kind of show who's cool and who's not and all of that. If you continue to do that and think you're cool in there, you're going to get to show how cool you are in prison. And that's a whole lot different. And that's not what any of us want for you. Okay? All right. You can go back with the bailiff. Good morning. Good morning. You are Ronald Bratton. And Mr. Bratton, you were previously in court and entered a plea of guilty to failure to comply with sex offender registration requirements. It was an open plea to the court. I've received the pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
We have, Judge.
We have, Judge.
Are there any additions or corrections?
Not so much, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Kelly, you may proceed.
Judge, one of the conversations that Mr. Bratton and I have had over the last couple of weeks, and certainly while this case was pending, is that everything that you've got in front of you was not going to be a surprise. We knew what our background here was. One of the things, two really in this case that I've never seen before. One, you can see Detective Flores' statement here, and while he may not necessarily be advocating for probation, he is at least mentioning it as a possibility, and that's because, as he should be, Mr. Bratton is in compliance right now and has been since after the indictment and after the arrest. The other reason for that is because they have, maybe limited, but they have interactions with each other because he's required to check in with him and stay in touch with him as part of his registration. The other is, and this is from Mr. Bratton's perspective, I've never had someone come to me and ask me to ask the court for safety. I know that it happens, but I'm saying it's never happened to me because it's that rare. And the reason that is one of the things that we're asking the court for today is clearly there are other charges in here where he hasn't registered. It's the same thing we're dealing with now. We understand that. We're kind of owning that as best we're able to right now. But everything that the court's looking at, including the registration issues, it's all drug related. All of it's drug related. While it has an issue, he wants to get serious help, I think for the first time, addressing it. And finally, Judge, we talked about this morning, he and I have talked about it over the last week or so, and we don't say it casually, we say it because it's true, because it's coming from him and his experience. It's one thing to be sentenced to TDC, and we're very aware that the court has all the authority to do that today. But the way that he said it to me is, it would be very easy to go do something I've already done and sit and count time. Not that there aren't other things that he can do to improve himself, but sitting and counting time is not hard. Yeah. Doing probation with some pretty serious restrictions on it is hard. It's at least harder than that, as he's conveyed it to me. We have asked while this case has been pending a number of different times, at least 2 or 3, for permission for the county to go work for a weekend or work some odd jobs, because frankly he's scraping it together right now to get to the next day, to try to make a living, to try to improve on some things. We're asking the court for community supervision. We're asking the court, if it grants that, to add on any conditions that the court believes are necessary. I'd also like a chance to allocute for the court, if you'd allow me to.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
How you doing today? I'm a little nervous because, I'm sitting in front of the judge. I've been through this since I was 18. Got arrested at 18, indicted at 19, and been going through it. And I've been having that jacket on my back and also a drug addiction problem. And I've been running like a little boy, just getting by through life. Well, since the last time I was at this court, I'm a pawpaw now. And changed me more than even having a kid. You know what I mean? And I'd like to be a better granddad than I was a dad.
Mr. Hoffpower.
Your Honor, the state take judicial notice of the PSI, and also in the indictment you'll see that the defendant has been convicted 3 prior times for failure to register as a sex offender. That's included in the PSI on page. You'll see on page 4. You'll see that it is Grayson County, Hardin County, 2 other counties where he was given probation and failed and was revoked in Pacific Penitentiary, and then as well as, this is a problem, obviously, and, he's already been to the pen for this. He's been given an opportunity to have probation. He did not complete probation twice. I understand in light of being, those things, but they're always going to be there, and this is a history of not complying with the registration, which he's had that responsibility for a long time. Therefore, we're in here hearing arguments that we hear the first time they do this, not if you'll see that other times have been dismissed. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the times that he was convicted, and that's 3 from other counties, not Jefferson County. So it's hard for me to take that seriously when it's happened before and that stuff hasn't changed. Nothing changed within that. And yeah, here we are again. And through his explanation is that he just decided he didn't want to do it anymore. And he left. Now, whether or not that drug issue, I can't speak to that. But all we know is what we know, and that he has been convicted of this. He knows he needs to do it, yet he fails to do it. And he's going off, and we don't know, and that's the point of having a failure to register, is that we have someone out there who's shown the propensity to act that way and not comply.
Right.
I'll say that.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffpower. What's your drug of choice?
Methamphetamine.
For some reason that's, oh, there it is. Used daily, okay. I have a big question mark on this one, Mr. Bratton, because on paper, you deserve 25 years to life. You're habitual. The fact that your attorney negotiated a plea just to a third-degree felony is already a huge win, in my opinion, because, future behavior is typically, we can tell what you're going to do by what you've been doing in the past a lot of times. People can change, and you've been given so many opportunities. I appreciate Detective Flores's statements. I appreciate the fact that you want help. I don't disagree, honestly, that probation sometimes is harder than prison, especially, if I give you 10, you're probably not going to do half of that, maybe a third of it, and then we don't have anything. Anything as far as being able to really keep track of you and for a longer period of time. So what I'm going to do today, Mr. Bratton, is give you probably the last chance you're going to get, at least here in this county. All right? So I am going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of failure to comply with sex offender registration requirements. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 10 years in prison, but I'm going to probate that. You will be on probation for 10 years. You will be ordered to enter and successfully complete the SafeP program. You'll go into custody today, you'll wait, you'll go to SafeP, you'll get out, you'll do whatever aftercare. I would like it probably to be through JCDI, unless there's something else. I want it to be intensive outpatient when you get out. You will be given the tools to be successful. It's up to you to take advantage of that. You will be, from the beginning, on the high-medium caseload, and you will be on zero tolerance. That means there is no, I relapsed and I tested positive. There is no, I missed a meeting because I couldn't make it. You make one mistake, I want probation to bring the case back in here, you're going to go do the 10 years that I just gave you. It's just that simple. This is it. This is your chance. There will be no room for mistakes on this probation because you've already been given that leeway earlier in other cases. So this is it. If you do everything you're supposed to and you change your life like you say you want to, that's your choice at this point, right?
And there it is, a young life balanced on the edge of choice and consequence. In the courtroom today, the stakes were real. Not just a plea, not just a sentence, but a moment that could define a future. Probation, opportunity, and responsibility were laid bare, and the path forward demands growth, discipline, and accountability. Things most 17-year-olds rarely face. Every decision now carries weight. A misstep could mean prison, a right choice could mean freedom. In the end, the law gives a chance, but only action can seize it. What will he choose? And what would you do?